And it is out with the old and in with the new. Some would assume we have the former IMMAF European champ back in 2019, Victoria Dudakova, making her UFC debut, taking on the former one championship strawweight challenger. Up there for the title against Angela Lee. It's Istela Nunes. She's 0-3 in the UFC. Istela Nunes. Did she have USADA issues? Istela Nunes. Yes, she did. Matt, this is a really weird fight because if I can shift the focus from the debuting fighter, normally we go with the debuting fighter to start these videos. I'm going to go with Nunes in this one because for Istela Nunes, it's been really, really weird. Her first fight that she takes up, I mean, we're taking on a really, really good fighter who can take you down, who's built out of stone. And in that one, Nunes, as the fight goes on, gets taken down by Ariane Carnellosi and gets finished. So Nunes' next time out, she takes on Sam Hughes. Struggles at the start. Has really good striking.
Exactly.
Has the eye poke, and if there was no eye poke, Istela Nunes wins the fight. Because there was an eye poke and she loses a point in the third round, majority decision win for Sam Hughes. So Nunes, her last time out against Yasmin Jauregui, who everybody thought was going to be a future title contender.
We will rock you. That was a wild fight.
It could happen. She just struggled her last time out. But Nunes threw the blueprint out there. The check shot that really dropped Jauregui early, but in the second round, Nunes ends up getting finished. So Nunes in this matchup, really good counter striker, really good on the outside. If her gas tank's there, it's great. If it's not, it's not. Struggles with takedowns, but she's been taken down by some good fighters. So I'm eager to see what we get out of Nunes in this one, out of American Top Team against Victoria Dudakova. Because if you look at Dudakova, after her last fight on Contender Series, that was the state of her knee. In the second round, it went really bad for her against Maria Silva. Wins the first round, wins the third round. Dana White says, and I quote Matt, "I didn't love this fight, but she showed me everything that I needed to see in the fight."
It was next level resiliency, and that is the wild thing. Like, she had so much success with her own offensive grappling in that opening round, but like you say, the second round was the complete opposite. Like, she was getting absolutely dominated. I think the graphic up on the screen was like 3.5 minutes of opponent top control on her, and that was the really odd thing to see because, like you bring up, in the third round, well, it just completely got flipped over on its head again. And for Dudakova, it's going to be really interesting to see, can Nunes damage her enough on the inside? Because Nunes does have insane pop for the size of her. You don't look at her as an athlete and think, wow, she can knock out people when she hits them clean on the chin. But she does have that high level of striking. What I do like out of Nunes is she seems to have quite fast hands. Now, yes, she can get overwhelmed
Whoa.
What?
She does seem to have quite fast hands. She has fast hands.
She has fast hands.
Okay,
she has fast hands, that's all. When she is able to use those hands and really able to land from point A to point B, she can have success, but that's really been the issue for her throughout her UFC tenure. It's, yes, you can have that 1 minute, those 2 minutes of success, but how can you go out there and just get long portions of success? Go out there and win rounds, not just win moments in those rounds. And that's been the really curious thing for Nunes, because right now at 6-4-1, if she's not able to add some big part to her game at some point soon, I am a little bit curious to see what's her run going to be like, because if she's just going to be kind of this action star outside the rankings, then where does she go from here?
Oh, it's going to be really weird because, again, for Dudakova, getting back from that knee injury, we talked about her before she fought Maria Silva, who was a pretty big favorite over there on Contender Series. Let's throw it on over to a clip from the show from last summer.
But when it does come down to this fight, hoop of shame around Dudakova. She's able to make the weight successfully. Very, very young prospect she is, so maybe if she doesn't win this fight, she ends up back on the show in some capacity. I think she has a very, very, bright future in the sport. And I think for Maria Silva, a lot of people are going to rally around her. If I'm not mistaken, she is the favorite in this matchup as well. So the more known commodity, I think Dudakova has a great shot in this matchup here.
This is my issue with Dudakova. I wasn't impressed with any of her wins on the regional scene. Like, a lot of her wins were over people who she was kind of expected to win. They were making their debut. They didn't have a lot of experience. She had beat one fighter with a good record, but if you do any deep dive on that fighter, she had lost 3 fights going into that, and then the loss to Dudakova was her 4th loss in a row, which isn't great. I don't disagree with you that she could develop into something very promising. I just don't have a good read on her right now, if I'm being completely honest and transparent. At least with Maria Silva, I do feel like she has a steadier foundation, if that makes any sense, because she is good in the clinch. She's a very physically strong fighter, fights with her hands up, will throw a lot of kicks. See, there's a foundation there that you can definitely build upon, like there are other fighters out there who fight in a similar manner to that. That's the problem, though. We have seen her struggle with some of the takedown defense and some of the grappling in the past. She's not bad when she gets top position. Like I said, really physically strong fighter. She can threaten with some of those head and arm chokes herself, get past guard, threaten with ground and pound. But on the defensive end, you do worry about her, especially against someone like Dudakova, who has shown the ability to finish fights with really high-level submissions. So I think this is one of those fights where we just sort of learn more about both fighters, and that's sort of the win that we all get from it.
So if you look at it for Dudakova, training out of... I mean, listen, the gym name, I threw down a different gym name. I put Extreme Couture. She's in Vegas getting ready for this one. But she trains out of a gym called Sambo 34. Like Mambo number 5, but Sambo 34 with Gassanali. And he's one of those guys, got it done on the way up through, but didn't continue with the fighting. Seems to be a bit of a mentor to Dudakova. The other part about this video, Dudakova, I've spelled it Victoria as you'd spell it in North America, because that's how she spells it on her Instagram and everywhere else. The UFC, it's Viktoria. There's some that have Y's out there. If she's spelling it that way, that's how I'm spelling it. But really good takedowns. You watch her on the regional scene, a lot of blitzes that drop her opponents, and then she gets down and submits them. She fought a terrible level of competition on the regional scene, but beating Maria Silva really did tell us something.
She didn't have a lot of fights. We just disagree at this, I think. When you don't have a ton of fights yourself, you're not going to be fighting a bunch of people who are like 22-3.
Albert Duraev fought a UFC vet in his 4th fight as a pro.
One example. That's great. But for the most part, when you're inexperienced yourself and you only have single-digit fights, people don't match you up with people who have double-digit fights in the win and loss column. It is not that common of an occurrence.
Well, if you do look at this matchup, Matt, I mean, Nunes in deep need of a win. Even in that Carnelossi fight, 2 19-19s and a 2018 for Nunes. She gets submitted in the matchup. We have a look at the Tapology votes. Surprised to us as they are to you. I'm going to say over under 80% Dudakova in this one.
I feel like the voters have been wilding a little bit. I'll say over.
I'm going to say over. It's way over. 1,162 total votes. 93% Dudakova. 32% by decision. 58% by submission. For the 7% that have Nunes, 66% by decision. You have Dudakova, do ya?
I think her wrestling's going to be able to get it done. I worry about the injury, of course. We bring up knee injuries on this channel so much, but I still think she's going to be able to get it done.
I think that Istela Nunes beats up Victoria Dudakova on the feet and makes it not look
Remember
like
when Macy Barber was going to not beat Amanda Hebos at all and that fight wasn't going to be close?
Matt, remember all the times you were wrong too?
No, I'm just saying, like, sometimes you'll be like, oh, this is definitely gonna happen. That's all.
Yeah, 7% of the fans going with Istela Nunes to get the win. I'm in that 7% camp in the matchup. Split in the pick of this one. Dudakova coming in, full head of steam. I am the MAF amateur champ going back to 2019. Is still very, very young in the career. But of course, coming off of that knee injury sustained on Dana White's Contender Series last summer. So an abridged debut for Victoria Dudakova. Split on the pick in the matchup, Matt. We have a very, very, very interesting fight coming up in our next one. Tucker Lutz taking on Melsik Baghdasaryan. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, we always say.
Let's get into it.